Alright, welcome back again. Very quickly going to explain the basics of manipulating your own view in Blender, as well as the basics of moving objects around. So to manipulate your own view, you can click the middle mouse in to spin the camera around like this. You can hold shift and middle mouse to move left, right, up, and down. In order to snap your view to a perfect frontal view, you can press 1 on the number pad or on the number row if you have the emulate numpad option on, 3 for the right orthographic view, and 7 for the top view, and as well as shift 1, 3, and 7 for the opposites, the rear, the left, and the bottom view respectively. If you find that your camera is way on over here and you want to jump right back to your cube, you can simply click on it to select it and press period on the numpad, and it will snap you straight back to whatever you have selected. This is very useful if you find yourself kind of zoomed in like this and you notice that it's pivoting way out here when you're trying to work on the cube. Just simply period and we're back. Now, as far as manipulating objects, there are 3 main controls in Blender. It's going to be the G, R, and S keys. So simply click the object, G, grab it, and R, rotate, S, scale. If you wish to cancel the action that you're doing, simply right click and it will just cancel it, and left click to complete the action. If you want to undo all that, you could control Z, 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 undo it. But let's say you do some stuff to the cube and then go on and do a bunch of other work, and now you decide, man, I really wish this was back to normal. Hold Alt, G, R, S, and Alt and those keys will clear whatever you've done. So you can move it over here, Alt G, and it will bring it right back to reset to its default values. One last thing that I think it's important to be able to visualize for a new user is the idea between local and global coordinates. So to help you see that really quickly, if you come up here and turn on the Z axes here so it's all shown, then click this drop down, then select local for object gizmos and check the box for move. And if we select the cube, you can see that there's these 3 axes are drawn here on the world. Those are the global X, the Y, and the Z axes. And the ones that are these arrows inside our cube, those are the local axes for the cube. Right now, you might think they're the same thing because they are exactly aligned, but if we take the cube and spin it, you can see now these are no longer the same. And the reason this is important is because there are a ton of functions in Blender that will basically depend on whether you're feeding it the global location data or the local location data. So right now, the face that this blue arrow is pointing at was the top of the cube, because if we reset, you can see that's lined up right here on the top. So when I spin it, it's pointing that way. And one example of that is when you are simply moving the cube around, you can press G to grab it. You don't have to have your cursor over it as long as it's selected. Just move it. While you're moving it like this, if you press one of the axis keys, so X, Y, or Z, it will get locked onto that axis. So if we grab to move it and we press the Y key, now it's on the global Y axis. But if we press Y a second time, you can see now it's going to follow the local axis only, which is that green arrow here. And again, this may not seem that important to you right now, especially if this is your first time ever touching Blender, but I promise this information is very important to keep in mind. I don't normally work with all this showing, I just usually have it with all those shut off like this. That's really all you need to know for now about this. If you have any questions, as always, let me know. In the next video, I'm going to explain the basics of edit mode and the object origin, so I will see you there. Thanks for watching.